Black Clover is back with 3 brand new chapters, along with the celebration of its 10-year anniversary. First off, we have a color spread featuring a ton of characters happily charging ahead. Then we have illustrations from a bunch of manga legends. From the creator of Naruto, Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of One Piece, Eiichiro Oda, the creator of Bleach, Tite Kubo, the creator of Demon Slayer, Koyoharu Gotoge, the creator of My Hero Academia, Kohei Horikoshi, the artist behind One Punch Man's manga and Ice Shield 21, Yusuke Murata, the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gege Akutami, the creator of Assassination Classroom, Yusei Matsui, the creator of Food Wars, Yuto Tsukuda, the creator of Sakamoto Days, Yuto Suzuki, the creator of Kaiju No. 8, Naoya Matsumoto, the creator of Witch Watch, Kenta Shinohara, the creator of Kuroko no Basket, Tadatoshi Fujimaki, the creator of Beelzebub, Ryuhei Tamura, the creator of I Am a Hero, Kengo Hanazawa, the creator of Siren, Toshiaki Iwashiro, the creator of Rugby Rumble, Daisuke Miyata, and finally, the creator of Black Clover, Yuki Tabata himself. These are all incredible, but please let us know which of them you like the most in the comments. We return to Yuno facing off against Lucius while channeling the power of anti-magic. He was banged up and breathing hard with intense focus. Finra was surprised to see the handsome prince using Asta's power too. Lucius's face was impassive, but internally, he knew he might be in some trouble. To him, this only confirmed that Yuno was a true threat all along, although he couldn't help but think about the nearly dead Asta who made it all possible. Lucius quickly unleashed his amalgam of spells at the insolent wizard, but Yuno was ready. He tore through it all with Black Tornado Fang. Emerging from the massive swirl, Yuno held Asta's demon dweller over his head. He slashed at the would-be ruler, who moved just out of range. After using the weapon himself, Yuno couldn't believe that Asta was able to swing such a heavy weapon around with ease. He certainly did not have enough physical strength to make the most out of it. Lucius appeared behind him in a flash with a comment about anti-magic. Yuno guarded against his sword strike as the Emperor admitted to being very careful against it. Yuno's star magic shot beams of anti-magic up at the tyrant. Lucius blurred and avoided each attempt. They were approaching the ruins of the Clover Kingdom below. Lucius destroyed an entire building underfoot while Yuno deftly evaded. His Black Crescent Moon sickle looked like a Getsuga Tensho, but it was easily sidestepped. Yuno closed the distance sooner than the man could blink. Lucius guarded, but the force extended beneath them. Not to mention, Yuno had another sword. He struck down and managed to sever the end of Lucius's blade, although he was frustrated to know that he didn't hit the madman. Lucius totally masked his presence with the power of Geldre's permeation magic. And with the power of soul magic, Lucius just needed to touch a part of Yuno that didn't have anti-magic, and he would win. But even without seeing him, Yuno countered with Black Neverland. Now the villain was surrounded by anti-magic. His eyes widened as his magic began to disappear. Yuno wasn't done. He slashed at him yet again. Lucius quickly removed himself from the trap. With the cut on his face, the eldest Ogratis was impressed. He decided to wear Yuno down until his anti-magic runs out. Yuno retorted that Lucius would be dead long before then. Meanwhile, Noelle was being pursued by a monster with the features of her mother. Unfortunately, the young noble was all out of magic. That's when a fiery fighter interrupted with a flash of heat. Mereo Leona was here, and she urged Noelle to leave. This was not her mother anymore. So Asier's former student swore to defeat this distortion of her master. And really, Mereo Leona's feats are just insane and keep on stacking. Seeing as Yuno and Asta are still pretty young, maybe they're not ready for the title of Wizard King just yet. So in their stead, in the meantime at least, Mereo Leona seems to be the #1 contender. The major feat of the first Wizard King was defeating the ancient demon, which Asta later did, as well as Mereoleona. When it comes to the paladins, while everyone else's fights were a combined effort, Mereoleona stood alone and emerged victorious. She's achieved a level of power that has made her a magical anomaly herself that has never been performed by anyone else. And now she is about to solo the supercharged paladin of one of the Clover Kingdom's strongest soldiers ever. Oh, and she also defeated a Wizard King by herself in the movie, which, as we'll see from the events of these chapters, is canon. Elsewhere, Asta and Libe were bleeding out on a bed of mimosa's flowers. She knew that the only thing that could totally heal him would be an ultimate magic spell, but she simply didn't have enough mana to spare. She knew that he would die otherwise, but doing so would practically be a death sentence to everyone else who was wounded. She also knew that Asta wouldn't want to be the only one who was saved, yet she wavered with uncertainty. The injured Magic Knights urged her to forget about them and save Asta. After seeing him fight, they knew for sure that his power was their only hope of saving the kingdom. Mimosa was unsettled by their words, but before she could reply, an ascended guardian angel made its approach. The knight swore to keep the soul construct busy while Mimosa escaped. She ran away with Asta in tow, and thanks to the sounds behind her, she knew that the brave souls had died to save them. The angel wasted no time and shot after her. Mimosa looked at an unconscious Asta. Gritting her teeth, she promised to save him no matter what. Then suddenly, Monster Morris landed in front of them. The freak was more interested in chasing down Mereoleona, but decided to get rid of Asta, the flaw of the world, for his master first. Mimosa paled. The mad scientist prepared to lash out, but was interrupted by a proclamation that Asta is not a flaw. He is a friend. That's right, reinforcements from the Diamond Kingdom have arrived. Mars, Fauna, Lotus, Ladros, Fanzel, Dominate, and Mariella are here. Like he promised early into the series, Mars was here to help Asta. Mimosa's eyes went wide. Fanzel assured her that they were on Asta's side. Lotus lamented the hard work ahead of them. Ladros found the situation to be rather ironic. The man who experimented on their people and treated them like playthings was subject to the same thing, courtesy of his new master. Morris was surprised to see them. He let them know that it was too late to make a difference. He was actually a bit embarrassed to see his previous work and wanted them all to perish. And that's when a new face called him a relic of the past, as even without his modifications, they had all grown stronger. And a menacing mound trailed behind her. This woman was previously Morris's best work, Pheramena, one of the 8 Shining Generals, and more importantly, the host of the Earth Spirit. Finally, the 4th Spirit has been revealed. They all lashed out against the massive monster Morris as one. The Diamond Kingdom's knights roared with all their fury. Mimosa and Asta were pushed away by Fanzel's wind magic. Just like the men before, they promised to keep the enemy busy while Asta gets patched up. Mimosa thanked them, and the battle ensued. At the same time, the citizens of the Clover Kingdom cheered Yuno on. Yuno used Black Windblade Shower to fend off Lucius's attack. The Emperor was using the 11th Wizard King's Legion magic to fill the board with pawns. Yuno began to cut the distance. He was unrelenting, and Lucius fought back with the 16th Wizard King's barrier magic. Lucius wondered what would come first. An end to their fight, or the lives of everyone Yuno was fighting to protect, because he was well aware of how bad the situation was looking for them. The populace was in serious trouble. The guardian angels lashed out, and the people ran for their lives. Then something sprang out against the threats. It was Nej. And this time around, she was making the decision to protect people with her snow magic. But before she could do anything with her little spell, the attack was diverted by a Rubik's Cube with a gelatinous center. There were many of them emerging from the ground. The people were confused, they had never seen anything like this before. But recognition came to a few of them. Soon after, an apology was extended over loudspeaker. Millie Maxwell removed her glasses and let them know that they finally finished their preparations. Branch 0 of the Magic Tool Research Lab was hard at work. Noelle was surprised to see the researchers in action, while Secre was happy to see that they were successful, because when she's not with the Black Bulls, she's usually helping them out. Sally reflected on what Asta told her in the past about helping people being able to bring her happiness. Back then, she didn't understand, but then she experienced it firsthand, and now she happily understands. Those cubes contained her gel magic. Valtos used his spatial magic and decided that it was time for them to atone for their previous misdeeds. A portal opened up in front of an angel. Makusa lifted a new magic tool. He fired a small beam at the creature. It was based on all the research Sally did on Asta's magicless body. It may not be anti-magic, but one shot, it messes with a creature's magic circuits. As a result, they can't use magic for 5 seconds. Now the people could actually fight back. Makusa sang Sally's praises. Radus emerged from the portal. He knew that the angels were powered by trapped souls, so he forced his hands onto the monster. With his soul corpse magic, he'd send them back to where they belong. And just like that, the guardian angel crumbled. The people were astonished. They praised his epic heroism. He reflected on what Asta said about his power, how he was wasting it by attacking innocent people. The former member of the Midnight Sun scowled. Asta was right all along, but unfortunately, there were still way too many enemies. Then a figure rushed onto the scene with extreme speed. The elves are here to help. Patoli promised that this time around, the elves would help protect humanity. Mimosa watched it all unfold. She spoke to Asta with a smile on her face. Even his old enemies were on their side now. Yuno's eyes were wide with focus. Before him, Lucius was now using World End Martyr, the power of the 20th Wizard King. But the cameo didn't last too long. Yuno used Quintile Atrum Flagellum, a star-linked whip of anti-magic. And with it, the Colossus was torn apart in an instant. Lucius lifted a hand. A massive sword of light was above him. He hurled it at his opponent. Yuno prepared himself. His Quintile Atrium Scutum devoured the magic. The star spiraled in front of him, then they connected. A beam pierced the heavens. Quintile Atrium Hasta. Lucius and Yuno charged in perfect sync. They repelled one another. They even fell down in sync. They stared at each other from floating platforms. Yuno mocked the man's desperation. It became clear to him that Lucius was actually terrified of Asta. He wondered if the Master Manipulator expected Asta's enemies to get stronger and fight alongside him. Lucius's inability to use foresight on Asta really was a major weakness. Even so, the villain claimed to be unmoved. To him, this was nothing more than a brief battle of attrition, which was exactly how he saw Yuno's temporary use of anti-magic. As such, Lucius emphasized Asta's current situation. Mimosa collapsed. She was struggling to breathe. Despite their best efforts, Lucius was certain of his victory. The guardian angel caught up to them. A helpless Mimosa could only look over her shoulder as the monster approached. Then she was obscured by petals, courtesy of her older brother. Mimosa couldn't believe it. Kirsch scolded Asta for being on his back while Mimosa protected him. But the angel forced its way beyond the distraction. So Langris tore through the fiend with his spatial magic. Mimosa called out to him. Although it wasn't a true battle, Langris didn't want to see the guy who beat him in such a state. Although quickly, the angel knitted its body back together. Langris wasn't very happy about that. But then another wizard incinerated it with a torrent of flames. This time, the threat was thoroughly ruined. Mimosa shouted Leo's name. Meanwhile, he shouted at his rival Asta to wake up. Mimosa could tell that the young wizard was covering himself with mana method. Longris was impressed. But yet again, the monsters continued to rise. The hopeless wizards could only smile. They each reflected on their experiences with Asta, the magicless peasant that they had decided to acknowledge. They knew that he kept getting stronger, so they could all fight together. So, they told him to stand, to fight, to put an end to Lucius. As they fought with all their might, Mimosa did her best to keep Asta alive. She was panicking. At this rate, Asta was going to die. She remembered seeing him like this against the devils in the Spade Kingdom. Her inability brought tears to her eyes. But just then, a portal appeared at her side. Finral and Charmy showed up with a huge platter of magical food. Mimosa was stunned. They were watching and told her not to give up. The noble wiped away her tears and found her resolve. She thanked them and ate the food. Moments later, her grimoire opened up. Ultimate plant magic, Flower Princess Utopia. Mimosa concentrated all of her power and begged Asta to wake up and save the world. A guardian angel screeched as it broke through the opposing magic. It loomed over her exposed back. Then Asta cleaved through it with his katana. As it faded away, Asta thanked his friend for saving his life. Mimosa's eyes were now filled with happy tears, while Asta's eyes were fierce. With a roaring declaration, Asta vowed to take Lucius down. Now at full strength, it is time for us to see Asta's final stand. That said, Adramalac still hasn't made his move, so Lucius definitely has more cards to play. And I hope you'll be here when the time comes. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.